physical tips for exercise on my warm beach with funny hair and everything. Yeah, we was thinking that every week maybe we can maybe look at some little pointers and things to whilst we're in lockdown in terms of keeping us all moving and keeping us physical in even minute ways. I think you've talked about before, not just about leaping around the room, doing your online classes, which I obviously love doing, but there are ways of keeping us moving. So
yeah, and I think that it's beyond exercise. I think that when we talk about exercise, those people that have always exercised and it's part of their routine before all this happened will find a way to make sure that that's part and parcel of what they do going forward, because that was just something that they did. They found time beforehand. They're definitely going to find time to keep that going because they need that. They need that for their mental sanity, their mental health, and they know how that feels when they don't exercise. Not just for Emma Wilson Fitness, but for my time for change as well, I kind of break movement down into kind of 4 areas of movement, activity, exercise and training. And there'll be some of you in training because you'll be athletes and you'll be triathletes and you'll be racers, whether your discipline is cycling or swimming or whatever it may be. Then there's the people who exercise, which is kind of me and my category with my classes. Then you've got activity, so all the things that you like to enjoy that perhaps you can no longer do, like go and have a game of tennis, like go and have your game of squash, your badminton, your skiing, your trampolining, your even gardening to a degree, because if you've only got a small garden or yarden, then we've got so much time on our hands that you're potentially running out of things to do, and maybe it was just as simple as you used to go to maybe one of those outdoor gyms at the park. So these things have been taken away, and then you've got just movement. And I think that we're all probably sat down. I'm still doing my online workouts and everything else, but I know I'm sat for far longer than I am ordinarily, because I'm finding things doing with the PC, but I'm not in and out of the car, I'm not in and out of the shops, I'm not doing my normal movement, my everyday stuff, and it's very, very easy to sit. And when we sit, we've stopped using certain muscles, our posture is changing, we're potentially hunched over all the time. And I think that even the guidelines now, that I think something came out on the BBC, I think they're even running a programme soon, for just keeping people moving. So if you can imagine, somebody elderly that used to have, the shops to go to, a bus to catch, just going to the post office, the building society, the little things. They were up and out of their chair, they went out, they moved. Whereas now they've not got any of, they're not even lifting their shopping anymore. And so they're sat, and so it's little things like just moving the fingers so that we don't lose the grip, moving the wrists in a different way, moving the head, dropping the neck, standing up and sitting down. We should be stood and standing up and sitting down probably every hour for a good 3 or 4 minutes. So just the process of standing up and sitting down, in terms of your hip flexors, your hamstrings, your glutes, the minute that we're sat down, these muscles get really, really tight, and these muscles get shorter. And so if you are someone who likes to exercise, the last thing you want is tight hamstrings and tight hip flexors. Your range of movement gets affected, the way that maybe when you go out for a run, your gait and your stride isn't along. Maybe when you're trying to swim and you've been sat, you haven't actually just lifted your arm. I know that some people may never in the whole of the day lift their arm above their head. It might just never happen, and therefore what's happening to their shoulder girdle, their chest muscles, they're not being used, and the less we use them, those ligaments, those tendons, those muscles, they all start to adapt to a new way, and that's not a great way. We want to be able to still have good posture, we still want to be able to have good range of movement, not feel stiff, not feel achy, and moving helps us feel less tired. So we then, if we have to move, we have to demand extra oxygen to those muscle groups to do it, and therefore you probably have to take a deeper breath in to do it. So it's not about getting the heart rate up, it's not about aesthetics of how you look, it's just about keeping your body functioning and well oiled, because when we move these joints they produce their own fluid, so it stops them getting sticky.
Fantastic. So in a nutshell, the best thing for all of us is to schedule in, however, I mean, I suppose a lot of us are sat in work from home situations that aren't set up, so our desk at work is ergonomically all set up, whereas also we're at a dining room table or on the sofa or things. So I suppose what you're saying is put your laptop down, walk away from your laptop, and
absolutely stand up and down at the desk for 10 times every 15 minutes. That's taking no time of your day. If you live not in a bungalow, then use the stairs. Just go up and down them 4 times maybe every 15 minutes. When you're next on the toilet, stand up and sit down maybe 10 times. They're your squats. That's sitting up, that's standing out, that's moving. Just, turning the head over one shoulder. We're not driving anymore. When you're driving and you're reversing, you're looking, you're doing. We're not even doing that anymore. Our neck muscles, everything, we're just looking straight ahead. We're not looking left, we're not looking right. Just the process of getting in the car and back out the car. It's that hip movement, out and in. There are things that is called functional movement. They're called micro movements. And they're things that we take for granted. Even as much as when we walk, somebody who's not been used to walking for a while will notice that they tend to shuffle because they don't want to pick up one foot and the other, because they're frightened that split second of being on one foot. They don't feel balanced. And so, none of us are immune to getting older. None of us are as immune for our bodies to stop working, but we have to keep moving them. And it's not about exercise, it's just about keeping them moving. For sure.
Awesome, thank you. And I'll keep moving by doing some Mexican waves on my Mexican beach here. And
you know what, the best thing for movement for everybody is probably to dance. And I would say the best thing for feeling happy is your favourite song. So I would suggest that once a day, you all in your household choose your favourite song, it goes on full blast, you sing it out loud, and you throw some shapes.